Thank you. I'm running for mayor because I believe I am the best candidate to move Mayville forward. I have served on the city council for the past 4 years, gaining valuable knowledge and experience. I have demonstrated through my leadership the ability to bring people together for a common cause for the benefit of Mayville and its residents. I believe in public service and the idea that every one of us is blessed to call Mayville home. I will be dedicated to improve Mayville, not change the small town we all came here for. We are all very lucky to have all the great things that are here in Mayville. We have a very safe community to work, live, and recreate in. I will work to make it even better. For us to be able to do that, we must all work together. It starts with following through with the 9-year plan, because all the great ideas in the world won't happen if we don't have the money to pay for them. Everyone has their favorite place or department that they care deeply about. Everyone wants to invest in that favorite area. Almost everyone wants their taxes lowered. None of this can occur if we start moving away from being fiscally responsible. I know it is very unusual for a politician to run for office, not to spend your money. I can assure you that I take the responsibility of spending your hard-earned money very seriously. I realize that the taxpayers worked very hard for their money, and that government should never waste or spend it foolishly. All too often, politicians cast their votes for a special interest group or cause that they believe in instead of doing what's right for the hardworking taxpayer. I believe in only one special interest, Mayville. I will be a mayor that works for the taxpayers, not against them.
Thank you. And Mr. Bell.
All right, thank you, Jeremy. First of all, I want to thank the Chamber for putting in tonight's time and effort in tonight's debate. I think it will be very informative to the taxpayers of Mayville. I also want to thank Bob Redeker for debating me on these important issues facing our city in the future. I would also like to thank you, the audience and viewers, for tuning in tonight and taking your time out of your busy schedule to find out the issues on tonight's debate and the important issues facing our city. I would like to thank, I'd like to be your mayor for the city of Mayville for a couple different reasons. First of all, I believe I have the skills and knowledge and to move Mayville forward in the future of Mayville. Thank you.
Thank you. The first question will start and be first answered by Mr. Redeker. And the question we have is, what do you feel is the most pressing issue that the city of Mayville faces, and how would electing you allow the city to better deal with it?
I believe the most pressing issue the city is facing right now is the risk of the council abandoning the 9-year plan. I believe it is essential that we stay on course of being fiscally responsible. I know with a new council there will be temptations to say, well, since we're out of our deficit, it is in the past, we can go back to the old ways of spending. This, I believe, will have a devastating effect on the future of this city. It will have the effect of raising taxes, lost revenue from the state, and creating new debt. In turn, it will stunt growth in both business and housing and have a dampening effect on housing prices. I believe I am the best candidate to keep the plan alive and also not to fall into the spending trap of the past. I have no special interest group that I need to repay or thank with your money. I have proven over the past 4 years that not only have I voted to stay with the plan, but I have made the tough votes to actually make it happen. I will bring this commitment to the mayor's office. I will submit budgets to the council that maintain the plan of building a reserve. This is important, so if we have an unforeseen event, we have enough funds to cover it. A good example of this was when we ran short on salt in the last decade and used the excuse to create the wheel tax. We all know how that turned out. It took us 5 years to get rid of the tax. Most of us think that it is a smart idea to have a savings account in our own lives, so why wouldn't we think that it's not a good idea for the city to have one? We can debate how big this reserve has to be, but I think it is essential to have one.
Thank you. Mr. Boelk, your responses to the most pressing issue in the city of Mayville.
The most pressing issue I see in the city of Mayville is our infrastructure. Our infrastructure has suffered over the course of 5 years at a minimum. Our fire, our EMS, and our street departments, along with our water department, we've been cutting the budget so much over the last 5-6 years that we have to, I'm not saying we're going to abandon the plan. I'm saying that we should take some of the money that we are going to save over the next few years and give it back for infrastructure reasons. Our fire department's equipment is 20 years expired. We need to get that up and running as quick as possible because we're in violation of state laws because we can't adequately adjust our fire department's equipment. That, I believe, would be the most pressing thing we're facing as a city as of right now.
Mr. Redeker, would you like a follow-up to what Mr. Boelk said?
Sure. As far as the infrastructure goes, we've been spending a lot of money. We've been using that wheel tax that we instituted. We've been borrowing money, and then so we have been improving our roads. Actually, our rating is up to a 6. We're pretty much in line with what other communities are in the area, or maybe even a little bit better. Of course, when it comes to safety, we have to invest those funds to make sure that all our police officers and fire department personnel have the correct equipment and safe equipment to work in.
Mr. Boelk?
I will go back to the infrastructure of our city. As far as our fire department is lacking in equipment because it's outdated, and we're actually putting our fire department at risk, our members. That's as far as I can do. That's good.
Okay. Next question goes first to Mr. Boelk, and both of you are in favor of growing the economy of Mayville and attracting business here. So the question is, what's your 2-minute commercial, or how would you advertise the city of Mayville to prospective businesses?
Well, as it stands right now, I thought about this for quite a while, and my slogan for attracting new business, it's warm, friendly, hardworking people with small-town values that can grow your business needs.
Fair enough. Mr. Redeker?
Okay, mine's going to be a little bit longer. I'm sorry. Well, it would be me first starting talking and then having pictures of Mayville's fine amenities in the background, but it would go something like this if you can picture this. Hello, my name is Mayor Bob Redeker, and I would like to tell you about our great city of Mayville and why your business would benefit from calling Mayville home. We offer the best of what small cities have, superior quality of life plus amenities few other cities of this size offer. We offer a close proximity to major state highways with North-South Highway 41 just 20 minutes away and East-West Highway 33 less than 10. If you are a manufacturing company, we have a city-owned industrial park that we can offer lots that will suit almost any type and size of building you might want to build. We can offer these lots at a very desirable price. If you are a small business, we offer a variety of options to locate on our improving Main Street. We have a Main Street redevelopment committee that you can access the various programs that they offer to new businesses that locate here. If you are a commercial business, we have various sites and towns to choose from. We also offer a very motivated workforce. Our Midwestern hard work ethic and values are alive and well in Mayville. This is demonstrated by the many companies that already call Mayville home. We also offer to you and your employees a superior quality of life. We have such amenities as a state-of-the-art exercise facility known as the Tank Center, offering a variety of options and programs to keep you and your employees and their families healthy. We have a professional 18-hole golf course and clubhouse that you can take your clients to as well. We also offer a variety of eateries and cuisines in town. We have a excellent public and private school system for your employees' families. We also offer various special events throughout the year for your enjoyment. Come and see why we think Mayville is the crown jewel of Dodge County.
Mr. Boelk, any follow-up on how to
Sure.
bring businesses to Mayville?
Our employees, as far as the fire, EMS, and police department, are the key to our success as a city, along with our street department and water department. Employees in this city are the key to growing businesses in this city.
Any follow-up to that, Mr. Redeker?
I'm good, thank you.
All right, the next next question goes to Mr. Redeker first. And the question is, will be your approach, if elected mayor, to maintaining the budget adjustments that go with the 9-year budget plan?
I believe maintaining the 9-year plan is essential for Mayville. I will submit to the council a budget that adheres to the plan of staying out of deficit and to build a reserve. This was one of the main reasons I decided to run for mayor. We have had a very successful 4 years of righting our financial ship. We started out over a $2 million deficit 4 years ago. This year I am proud to announce that with the result of a lot of hard work, we will be out of the deficit and we will start building our reserve. I want to continue the policy of being responsible when it comes to the budget. I will submit a budget that reflects a commitment to provide superior public services along with a zero tax increase. I believe that the public pays enough in property taxes, and to ask them to pay more is unnecessary. Going forward, we need to maintain fiscal discipline. We will do this by staying within our budget and to reward those departments that do so. By building the reserve, we will be able to move away from the policy of borrowing or anything that has a cost of more than $5,000. This policy is like you or I going out and buying a toaster or microwave, then going out and taking a second mortgage out on our home and then pay for it for the next 20 years. We need to borrow only for large projects. Our long-term debt stands around $5 million. This year alone, the cost of the debt service will be close to $150,000. Just think of how much that we could do with that money. Now, it is unrealistic to think that we will never have a long-term debt, but I would like to see that come down to a more reasonable level. We have been lucky these past several years to be able to borrow and refinance at a very favorable interest rate, but we know this won't last forever. We are passing on an incredibly large federal debt onto our children and grandchildren. We don't need to do this on a local level as well.
Thank you. Mr. Boelk, how will you maintain or not maintain the 9-year plan?
The 9-year plan will be out of deficit this year. We'll be starting to build up our reserves of our rainy day fund. We've been cutting $365,000 every year for the last 4 to 5 years on the 9-year plan, which is good. We need to keep that in place. We cannot drive up our debt. However, the 365 is too low. I think we need to bounce it back up to 10% of our total budget, which would be about $300,000. We need to take that $300,000 every year as for the 10% and stick it into a rainy day fund and keep building it past the 9-year plan. Every smart business owner knows that some of your profits have to go towards your infrastructure and hidden at cost expenses. And that's where the 10%, which would be $300,000, should go every year past the 9-year plan so we don't get in trouble like we have been in the past. And I see right now with our fire department and some of our other departments, they're suffering because we've been cutting 365 every year. I'm not blaming anybody on the 365. I think it's a great plan, but now that the deficit is going to be elapsed after this year, we need to grow 10% every year past the 9-year plan so we have money available in case we have emergencies.
Mr. Redeker, do you have a follow-up as to that 365 number in particular?
Well, the 365 number is actually, we're taxing at an extra $365,000 a year to cut into our deficit and to build a reserve. We're not cutting it, we're actually taxing at that extra rate. So I just want that to be made clear.
Any follow-up to that, Mr. Boelk?
Yeah, Bob's right. The 365 is that we've been budgeting that for the course of how many years now, and I still believe that we need to take 10% of our total budget and we need to put that aside every year for hidden cost expenses that occur. I mean, we have a fire truck we just purchased a few years ago, and eventually that's going to break down. The fire truck's 20-some years old. We need to plan in the future and take some of this money and put it off the side and grow our rainy day fund in case we have emergencies expenses.
Okay, and the next question goes to Mr. Boelk first, and it's related. After the 9-year budget plan is completed, what's your path forward as far as the budget for the city of Mayville?
I don't believe the 9-year plan will actually expire during this next 2-year term, but like again, you should take 10% of your total budget, stick it off to the side for rainy day fund, and in case we have hidden costs and expenses that are required in the future.
Mr. Redeker.
My plan for after the plan is complete is simple. We were taxing at an extra $365,000 a year for a long time. The public went along with this by electing people dedicated to the plan. I think we should celebrate this accomplishment by rewarding the people who made it possible, the taxpayer. My plan would be to cut taxes by $200,000 and start a capital improvement fund with the other $165,000. This, I think, would be a balanced approach. It would allow us to move forward with improvements without having to borrow for them, and to start working on reducing our long-term debt by not adding to it. I certainly would not be in favor of increasing or spending by that much. Speaking of spending, it is very important for people to understand something. We receive money from the state for controlling our spending. This amount was over $80,000 this year. We were very close to losing this year. People also have to understand that once you lose this, you can't get it back. To put this into perspective, it would be like taking over 60 homes off of the tax rolls forever. Now, that would be nice if you were one of the 60 homes, but for the rest of the community that would have to take up the slack, it wouldn't be so nice. All of us have a lot of time, money, and energy into this plan. We need to honor this accomplishment and not go back to the old ways that got us into the problem in the first place.
Thank you. Mr. Boelk, I think his proposal was that in the future he'd cut $200,000 from the tax roll and put $165,000 into the capital improvement fund. You have any follow-up to that?
Yeah, I have a follow-up to that. I think that's a great plan if he follows through with it. I mean, all we have to do is look at last year's budget cycle for this year, and we had a $22,000 shortfall this year, and we were going to increase taxes $7 for every $150,000 value home. I stood up at the podium and says that we can cut that $22,000 and get it back to zero so we don't have to raise anybody's taxes. At the last minute, they decided to do a tax levy adjustment to go from $7 on a $150,000 home to $14 on a $150,000 home. I voted no. I was the only council member that voted no. Mr. Redeker raised your taxes. I did not.
Next question is for Mr. Redeker first. What's your strategy for both population and business growth in the Mayville City?
My strategy for growth is quite simple. It must make sense. It must be something that is wanted, and it must be a benefit to the city. Growth is healthy and needed for the city of Mayville. We need to make every effort to first grow within the city limits. As we all know, there are empty business and commercial sites in town. We need to concentrate on filling those if at all possible. I will be proposing in my 2015 budget to fund the Main Street Redevelopment Committee. I propose $10,000 to be invested in this committee. They will be charged with the duty of developing a plan to help new businesses locate here through zero-interest loans and grants when appropriate. They will also develop a plan for existing businesses to access funds to improve and expand. This is investment in the downtown, I believe, is crucial to fill the empty storefronts. This city has put a lot of money in the downtown streetscape. We receive a lot of compliments from visitors, but we need to incentivize so that more of our storefronts can be filled. As far as population growth, we have been on a pace of growing at about 300 residents in the last 2 decades. With the housing downturn, we have seen that growth slow greatly. I believe the best way a city can continue to grow its neighborhoods and businesses is to offer a great quality of life at an affordable price. That means offer quality services and keep your taxes competitive and affordable.
Thank you. Mr. Boelk, your strategy for population and business growth in the city of Mayville.
I like to see happen in our city. Now, just because it's my opinion doesn't mean it's going to happen. We need to tire feedback from our community. If the community doesn't want it, then it doesn't happen. But what I think we should do is we should establish a downtown economic business partnership with the city hall, with our businesses downtown. And after that's established, we need to look at trying to get some grant money to establish a vitalized plan that we can show businesses how we're going to grow our downtown. Downtown is very important because without our downtown being successful and thriving, it's going to affect everyone's property taxes in our city. And then after that, we need to find an attraction to create foot traffic in our downtown. I've been doing some research on this for the last 6, 7, 8 months. Every successful downtown, small downtown, always has one thing in common. They have an attraction. I mean, all you have to do is look at Hartford. Their attraction is the mine shaft, and after the mine shaft's there's business growth around that area. We need to establish the same thing with foot traffic to grow other businesses in our downtown area.
Any follow-up to that, Mr. Redeker?
Well, I really think the key to bring businesses into town is to keep it affordable for them tax-wise. It's a big consideration that businesses have that locate in wherever they locate. So, in saying that, you have to keep your taxes low and affordable, and you're not going to do that if you have somebody that's leading your city that wants to spend money. And I'll take this opportunity to point out Mr. Boelk's record of liking to spend money. This past budget cycle, he voted to spend $71,000 on an additional officer and $34,000 instead of a part-time assistant at the police department, a full-time. Those two positions alone would have cost the city $105,000. In doing that, we would have lost our state revenue for our budget restraint money, which would have been another $88,000. So for a total cost of $193,000, that has a big impact on your taxes, and we want to try to keep it low to attract businesses.
Okay. Mr. Boelk, do you want to respond to what
Yes.
you just said about spending money?
For the sake of public safety of our residents and our business partners, we need to have an adequate police presence in town. Why would anybody want to move their business to Mayville if we didn't have adequate police protection or amenities? The other thing I would like to point out, and Mr. Redeker stated, is excessive taxes and fees for our businesses. We had this year decided to put a $38 fee for fire inspections for our business partners. I was the only one on the council that voted no, and my opponent decided that was a good thing to charge an extra $38 to our business, schools, and churches.
Okay, next question goes to Mr. Boelk first. I think it plays in. Mayville, as I think everybody knows, is still negotiating compensation with the police department. The two questions are, one, what do you see as the future of the Mayville Police Department? And two, what would your strategy be with the negotiations with the Mayville Police Department going forward?
Well, I guess I'm going to bring this up is that I do run a business, a nonprofit business called the Communication Workers of America. I've been the president of that for 6 years. I have extensive negotiation and bargaining skills over 15 years of my life. I would directly bargain with the police union on a contract. I do not think it's right that we spend $50,000 plus on bargaining their contract with expensive lawyers. When I can handle that job as mayor of Mayville.
Mr. Redeker.
The current status of the 2011-2013 contract negotiations is that we're at impasse. It is currently going to arbitration. When we receive the arbitration ruling, then we will go right into bargaining the next contract. Hopefully we'll be able to successfully negotiate the next one. The current contract negotiations have been a disappointment. Whenever you have negotiations that drag on for over 3 years, it is an obvious failure. We have tried to be very fair with the union and its officers. Now it is time for the union to be fair with Mayville. Other police unions have worked with their communities understanding the budgetary pressures that local municipalities are under. I certainly hope that in the future they can understand that it is in everyone's best interest to have a fair and competitive contract. As far as the future of the Mayville Police Department, I will work to help make it the best it can be. In saying that, I think it should be a right-sized department, just like any other in the city. I don't think we should understaff it or overstaff it. We need to base the size of the department on need and not want. I believe we need to address the overtime issue. No officer should be forced to work 12-hour shifts or worse. This is not so much a money issue as it is a safety issue for the officer and the public. That is why I would be putting in my 2015 budget funds to hire 2 part-time officers. We will use the money that we currently use to pay overtime to fund these positions. I know we will never eliminate overtime, but we can certainly cut down on it. No officer should be forced to work overtime just because someone goes on vacation, in training, or is sick. I think the future of the department can be very bright if we all work together.
Thank you. Mr. Boelk, do you have any follow-up, and in particular, any thoughts on whether the size of the police department and whether more full or part-time positions are needed?
Well, I think that the police department was understaffed. That's why I voted to hire an additional officer. I also want to point out that Mr. Redeker is wrong. The police contract expired in 2010. It's not a guaranteed 3-year contract. That's why you have a negotiation and bargaining process. You can make that 5 or 10 years, whatever you want. I would go back to the police union and try to get something that's fair for both parties. That's how bargaining works. It's not a win. So many times I've been hearing that we need to win, we need to win. It's not a win-lose situation. When you're in a negotiation with any kind of a union, it's a win and it's a loss. Both sides give a little and both sides take a little. And me as mayor would make sure that everybody in residents of Mayville is treated fair, and along with our employees in the police union.
Any follow-up to that, Mr. Redeker?
The new officer, funding for the new officer was in this year's budget. The new officer will be starting on July 1st, and that officer will also be in my 2015 budget. I'm not proposing to cut the size of the police department. I think it should be, like I said, I think it should be right-sized. They are negotiating the 2011 through 13 contract. I know it expired in 2010. I think it's a very good idea that we get 2 part-time officers in here to relieve the full-time personnel. So.
All right, next question goes to Mr. Redeker first. Do you feel that creating business fees, similar to what the fire inspection fee that was added this year, are appropriate tools for helping control city expenses?
No, I don't believe creating new fees for anyone is a good idea. To address the new fire inspection fee, you have to go back to the beginning. Last year, the fire chief came to the council with a concern of the department keeping up with fire inspections throughout the city. There were some cases that we were behind. This was a concern because if we fall behind on inspections and something were to happen, it would put the city in jeopardy of being a party to a lawsuit. So there were a couple of options, and after contacting a private inspection service, it was actually cheaper for the company to come in and do the inspections than if we continued to do them ourselves. We still have to keep the records by state law, but the company can do the actual inspections. We move the cost of the inspections from off of the tax levy to the new inspection fee to businesses. So we moved the cost over to a fee schedule and took it off of the tax rolls. This is an important distinction because some just think we created a new fee and didn't take it out of the budget on the other end. The fire department was in charge of keeping up with the 550 inspections per year they were required to do. Being a volunteer department, it was hard for them to find the time and the manpower to do all the inspections in a timely manner. It was also hard for them to keep up with the required training that is necessary to do the inspections.
Thank you, Mr. Boelk. How do you feel about the fire inspection fees?
Well, what people need to realize is when you pay your insurance for your homes, you actually pay a hidden 2% fee that goes to the state of Wisconsin, and that in return goes back to the city of Mayville for fire inspection fees. That could be one of the resources that they use. to me, for that 2%, we should have kept, if we had to contract it out, like the fire department chief said, then fine, let's contract it out. We should have absorbed that cost for the city. We didn't need to put any more burden on small businesses in our community.
Any follow-up to that?
Well, again, it was taken off the tax rolls, so that was a mitigating circumstance in that case.
Any follow-up?
He's right, it was taken off the tax roll, and it was actually, put in place to charge businesses, churches, and schools the fee.
All right, next question is for Mr. Boelk first. How will your term as mayor differ from your predecessors?
Well, first, I want to say that, my predecessor, Mr. Mady, I think that his skill level is a lot different than mine, and Mr. Redeker's is different than mine, and vice versa, right? I think Mr. Mady has done the best job to his ability up to this point, and I think he's trying to do what's right for the city. It's easy to always take pop shots at the leader, but it's a tough job, and it's a thankless job. What I would like to see happen is more involvement with the community and show the community, tell them what's going on in your city, and get public feedback either on our website or similar emails. And that's what I believe that would be difference between me and my predecessor.
Mr. Redeker.
First of all, I want to thank Mayor Mady for serving as our mayor for the past 4 years and wish him and his family nothing but the best in the future. With every new mayor, there will be changes that will be made. My biggest change will be in the area of communication. I believe with any relationship or endeavor, communication is key to success. We live in a time that the ease of communication has never been better. We need to take advantage of this reality when it comes to communicating with the public and our different city departments. I will hold regular department head meetings so that we can all discuss any issues that may be occurring and to share successes and concerns. I also want to update our webpage to include a tab on the latest news in the city. Too many times we have misinformation out in the public, and it would be nice for the public to go to a place that they can receive timely and accurate information. I also would like to take more advantage of our Facebook page. We need to engage people where they are, and Facebook has become a popular tool not only to get news out, but to receive feedback. This feedback, I think, can be a way we as government leaders can gauge how a slice of the public is feeling on a particular subject. Using Facebook has to be used with caution for public officials, but with the proper training and knowing the rules, it can be a very useful tool. I will also be committed to improving our communication and cooperation with our neighboring communities. It is important to have a good working relationship with our neighbors because there will always be occasions where we can benefit from each other. For an example, when we negotiated with the communities that we serve with our ambulance service, we are now receiving money from them to put into an ambulance replacement fund. They realized how important the service was to their community, and they felt it was right to support it. This is just one example of how communicating effectively can have a benefit that serves everyone. And lastly, we need to have more transparency. We should rarely be going into closed session. We should be going into closed session only in the most sensitive issues.
Thank you. Mr. Bell, any follow-up on the
Yeah, lines of communication should be open to all residents and department heads alike, along with respect. We need to respect one another as leaders, and with our department heads and our residents and the taxpayers. I'll go back to that, I have run a business for 6 years with department heads, the vice president, secretary, treasurer, and my vast knowledge of experience in negotiation experience is going to help the city in the long run if I'm your mayor of Mayville.
Mr. Redeker, any follow-up?
No, I think communication is crucial, like I said, to any successful business or government agency or relationship. It's the number one key to success.
All right, that's it for the questions for tonight. We'll have a closing statement of 2 minutes each, and the first closing statement is by Mr. Boelk.
All right, thank you, Jeremy. I also want to, again, thank the Chamber for hosting this debate. I think it was very informative, and I think that the general public has a tough decision ahead of them. I'm running for mayor of Mayville because I care about our elderly on a fixed income, our residents who are struggling to make ends meet, and our youth. I wholeheartedly support and want to keep our police, EMS, and fire department intact and not contract out these important services because they are the heart and soul of our community. I moved to Mayville 17 years ago because I have small town values just like many residents in Mayville do, and because it's the best city in Dodge County to live and raise a family. The only special interest group I represent is the residents of the city of Mayville. I voted against raising your 2014 property taxes. I voted against the wheel tax. I voted against raising business fees and taxes. I voted against the Shopko development and annexation. I voted against the 2014 reassessment of your property. I voted to keep the Mayville pool and not sell it to the school district. Friends, I am an honest, trustworthy person with hard work ethic. Help our residents and businesses of Mayville, and help me by voting for Rob Boelk on April 1st. Thank you and God bless.
Thank you, Mr. Boelk. Mr. Redeker, your closing statement.
I want to first thank the Chamber for holding this debate tonight. I know it was a lot of hard work to put this event together. I also want to thank Alderman Boelk for participating in tonight's debate. Mayville has a very big decision to make on April 1st. I believe this decision will have a long-lasting effect on the city. Are we going to keep going down the path that we have been on for the last several years, a path that respects the taxpayers' money and spends it responsibly, a path that shows we can provide for public safety at the same time putting the city in a better financial state, a path that maintains traditions and what's best about Mayville, a path that encourages best practices and savings within our city departments, a path that works to expand the tax base through common sense growth, a path that has its goal of lowering taxes, not raising them, and finally, a path that shows if we all work together, amazing things can happen in this city. We can have different opinions, and we will not agree on everything all the time. We don't always agree on things in our own family, so how are we ever going to have 5,000 people agree on anything? But we can have those arguments and disagreements in a thoughtful and respectful way. I believe Mayville is a special and unique city full of great people, places, and traditions. I believe the best is yet to come. The choice is yours, Mayville. The different paths are quite clear. What path do you want to take? Do you want to continue on the right path, or do you want to go left and turn around to the old ways of taxing and spending? This is the only citywide race in Mayville, and I'm asking you to send a message to City Hall that you want to stay on the right path. I respectfully ask for your support and vote on April 1st. Thank you, and God bless you, and God bless Mayville.